And there we are.
Hi, how are you all? And welcome to the 9th Developers Chat. I cannot believe that it has been 9 episodes.
One a week.
One a week of us creating this developers, I don't know, like this historical journey of the Charlaine Harris project, Lily Bard, and, well, the Lily Bard series.
Yep.
And Shakespeare's Landlord. So thank you very much for tuning in. And today we're actually kind of on the low key side of things. And oh, hi, Ellen. Hey, Ellen. And so yeah, we're just, how are you feeling, Blair?
It's been an interesting week.
It's been an interesting week, yeah.
There's been a lot going on, and I was a little under the weather there for a couple of days, and you're sort of under the weather a little bit now.
Yeah. See, and I just want to point out, I'm sure somebody will notice that my purple hair is hidden because I'm having a hat. I'm having a hat hair day.
A hat hair day?
Yes. You don't know what that's like anymore, do you?
Rub it in, sure.
So I did, freshen up the face so that I don't look as tired as I feel. But you know what, today we had some exciting stuff happening. We have some great news that we can't wait to share with you next week. But for now, we're going to just keep it under wraps. And
lots on the go. Yeah,
lots on the go. So we want to talk to you a little bit about what we've been up to this week. And also we want to take a moment to just acknowledge, the very sad passing of Nelsan Ellis, which most of you who are familiar with the Lily Bard series, but Charlaine and Charlaine's work of True Blood, it was very sad to hear of his passing. I believe he's 39. 39. And, I just turned 40 last month, and, that's too young.
Yeah.
That's too young. And I have to say, our condolences to the family. And I know that Charlaine has posted a couple of times about him and
a couple of the True Blood family.
Yeah, and we've even shared that on the page as well. A beautiful tribute by Stephen Moyer. So our hearts go out to Nelson's family. I thought that was really sweet of them to share that he had struggled with alcohol abuse, and because it's important to share that so that other people understand, but more importantly that other people don't feel like they're alone.
Yeah.
So that was incredibly brave of them, and I really appreciate that they did that as a way to honor his fans.
Well, and I mean, I love just the post that Stephen Moyer made about how, they were looking through, and Anna Paquin was looking through trying to find pictures of Nelson front and center, but he was a humble guy. He was always sort of on the sides, with the family, and they're supporting everyone. And I think what an interesting way to describe a guy who, as Lafayette, was larger than life, right?
Yeah.
He dialed that up to 11. I've been watching some of the True Blood episodes, that first season, and the scenes that he's in, it's just electric.
Well, and when you have somebody like that who just is such a phenomenal actor and personality, I remember when I first watched that series and watching season 1, and just how, here was this embodiment of ta-da.
Yeah.
I don't know how else you can describe it other than ta-da. And he just had the best lines.
Go back, and if you do a Google or a YouTube search for Lafayette True Blood with the phrase "tip your waitress,"
you get
probably one of the best scenes of Lafayette sort of staring down, LGBTQ bigots, yeah, and how he wears it as a badge of honor and says, "Yeah, come at me, bro."
Yeah,
and that's, I think, we still need that these days.
We do, and it's very interesting to see. I'm now on the 5th book of the Lily Bard series, and to sort of hear and read what Charlaine has tackled, because remember when she wrote that series, it was the mid-90s, and we're dealing with some heavy topics that we've talked about at length in previous episodes, and what she tackled in True Blood. It's
Oh, yeah.
I love. Now you've also been recently reading the Aurora Tea Garden,
I've been reading. Yeah, I've read the first book more or less of the Aurora Tea Garden,
and also Midnight Texas.
and
You've
I've been
re-listening
to get ready for the episodes coming up soon.
in 2 weeks.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah.
But speaking of Charlaine,
Yes. For those of you who have been paying close attention, Charlaine will be on this podcast on Friday, July the 28th at 3:00. And we are super excited. So if you have a question that you want us to make sure that we ask her, make sure you use the hashtag #AskCharlaine, either on the Lily Bard page or on Twitter or Facebook, but the post has to be set to public so that we can see it, because we're not everybody's friend. Although I would like to be everybody's friend. But I know that Charlaine has a really busy schedule right now. I believe she's currently at Thriller Fest, which is in New York this weekend. She flies home. And then I love how she put on her Facebook how she has like a day to do laundry, and then she's off to San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
So because they're promoting,
Yeah.
they're promoting Midnight Texas, and that's super exciting. We actually spoke at Comic-Con last year.
Yes, we did.
And we really wanted to go this year, but you know what? We're kind of busy with this game called Shakespeare's Landlord.
Busy. Yeah,
So Allena says, I love all of her books.
I know, right?
She writes really well. Allena, do you have a favorite character from one of the series we would love to know?
That's hard.
I know. It's kind of like, who's your favorite child?
Well, it's like, and even rereading Midnight, there are so many great characters in there, which I think is interesting, because it isn't like the Sookie Stackhouse series or the Lily Bard series or the Aurora Tea Garden series. It's the Midnight Texas series. It's this whole setting of all of these interests. Any one of those characters could lead it.
I have to finish Shakespeare's Counselor before I can get into Midnight.
Okay, well, we'll wrap it up this week.
Yes. I think I have about 5 more hours left on the Audible books. So remember, July the 28th at 3 p.m. Eastern Pacific, we are going to do, Charlaine Harris is going to be on here hopefully for, I would say, like between half an hour to an hour. So depending on how many questions that we get. And Allena says, I couldn't pin it down. I love how she brought all the characters from her other series. So that must be in reference to Midnight, I'm guessing.
That's one, but they do, like, Lily Bard apparently shows up in Sookie Stackhouse at one point.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I've never actually read the Sookie Stackhouse series. Oh my gosh.
I'm just going on what, I have enough to learn just with the Lily Bard series. But yeah, no, it's interesting how just great stories, right?
They are.
Consistent characters. And
so thank you, and thanks everybody for tuning in. It looks a little bit glitchy on our side, so hopefully we're okay. Lily and Jack appear in the Sookie books.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's Allena, you're obviously a big fan.
That's awesome.
That's maybe you'll be one of our early testers, and you could be like, hey, this feels like a Charlaine work.
Because that's the fun, is really, because that's what I was actually thinking about today, is all of the different conversations you're going to get to have with these characters.
Yes.
It's challenging.
Yes.
But it's exciting too.
So earlier this week, in terms of let's talk about, how's the game going?
It's going.
It's going.
It's going.
We've brought a few more people onto the team, and we'll be able to tell you more about who they all are next week. We're just finalizing a few little things, but we have a couple coming to the team, so we're super excited about that. We announced that a fantastic writer named Sarah Jeffers is going to be part of our team. And she's fantastic. I've been reading her writing samples. She's a huge, I want to say like an RPG / Dungeons and Dragons nerd, which that's your ilk, is it not?
Pretty much.
Yes. Yeah. And Will Hiles, who is a fantastic writer, he was your co-writer for Danielle's Inferno.
Yeah. So he's very familiar with story stylists. And
so we have like 4 people who are undertaking the writing component of this.
Harrison?
Do I want to talk about? No.
No? Okay.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Shh.
Right.
So, no.
Okay, sorry.
So, you didn't hear that. You
What
didn't
do
hear
I
that.
know?
And it's not Harrison Ford. That's not who we're talking about. So don't get all excited about that.
Do you know Harrison Ford's a programmer? He
Uh,
could very well be, but yeah.
Anthony's been
carpenter.
working. I think he's a little busy.
Yeah.
Yes. Anthony's been hard at work creating some new environments. So we started working on Mrs. Hofstetler's apartment this week.
Yeah.
And it was really cool because I got to do the reference art and find the stuff from we were trying to decide, do we do Mrs. Hofstetler set in 1930 or 1950s?
Well, because you figure she had her stuff that she just sort of kept
Sure.
with her, right?
Well, and there's also the stuff that you inherit from your parents.
I guess so.
She's 82 in 1995. It would make sense that she may have inherited a few pieces.
Yeah, but you feel like she's sort of downsized to, like, you know.
But quality. This
Yeah,
is not
sure.
IKEA. We're not talking about IKEA.
Oh,
furniture.
no, not at all.
So that, and have we more or less finished Lily's house?
More or less.
Yeah.
There's actually what I've been doing this week to help Anthony out is modeling all the outside and modeling that block with the Arboretum, with the Shakespeare Garden Apartments, Lily's house,
Mm-hmm.
Carleton's house, and to SCC as well.
Yes,
and so
the Shakespeare Combined Church.
So being able to move around that block, I had to do research about all the trees that are in Arkansas.
Now I have to laugh because Blair, I found pictures of our old apartment with our old couch, which is the quintessential like 80s, 90s couch. You know what I'm talking about? Do you all have a picture of plaid couches? And I apologize if you have one now and I've just offended you. But
Post your pictures on the Lily Bar page.
post your pictures of your ugly.
We'll put a few more up there.
Yeah. We could share that picture of you.
Yeah.
Blair with hair on an ugly plaid couch. Yeah, I know. Well, so that's been exciting. And I guess we can announce that we have a really fantastic promotional team.
Yeah.
So Jillian Mood of Jillian Mood and Partners is our new marketing and PR firm that we're working with. And what's really great is Jillian is so high energy. She's helping me because I'm high energy. So just like,
And I've been sick this week, so.
Well, we haven't needed you. So it's Jillian's helping us organize the Ask Charlaine, as is Brianna, our social media intern. And so we have this like really great
Jillian Mood watching.
Hi, Jillian. Everybody say hi to Jillian. So Jillian is super, super all of the energy. She absolutely is. And we're super excited about the launch party in October in Toronto. We keep mentioning that because, in the next month, you're going to be able to register to come to the party. Some people will have to be on the invite list.
Well, we're planning so much, right? So
Yes.
this is the fun, right?
It is kind of fun.
If there's a game and a party, who'd have thunk?
There's a game and a party, and Charlaine's going to be there, and you'll get a chance to meet Charlaine and to celebrate this cool thing. So I just want to say for the people who might be watching for the first time is if you want to see some of the sneak peek. Hi, Ron. Nice to see you. It's so great when people join us.
Yeah. Cool.
So if you haven't seen last week's episode, we actually showed some of the new art from the game. So we showed again, I think the bedroom. No, we didn't show the bedroom. No. Okay. So if you scroll through our Facebook page, you'll see Lily Bard's bedroom, which took everybody's breath away.
Yeah.
That was really a fantastic starting point by Anthony. And so last week we showed, I think it was the living room.
Yes.
With a funny little anachronism that Anthony has now since edited out.
It's gone.
Mostly, yes. So that
Plus a phone. We realized.
Yeah.
Well, you have a phone in there somewhere.
There are no cell phones in 1996. And so we're trying to think of what is the term. It's like a banana phone that is not helpful. So it's like, what is that phone where it's like the chunk and it's got the beep, 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 beep.
I had it at one point. I
know.
Yeah.
So
it's in a little cradle,
I had one of those. Mine was white with the clear buttons that lit up.
Okay, mine was nothing that fancy, so
No.
I was a poor student at
I'm
the
trying to remember what my home phone number was, but it doesn't matter. And so yeah, we had to go back in and edit that image to make sure there's a telephone in there. And then we worked on Lily's dining room. And but we haven't shown the dining room because we were working on it this week. And last week we also showed her workout room, so which transforms into something else in book 2. So you'll just have to go
book 2,
book 3, book 4, book 4.
They've
it's
all merged together now. Is that it?
It's such a blur.
Well, that's well, that's what we had to do with the map, right? We blurred all of that. Was the other thing we showed last week as well. Is our map of Shakespeare, the complete, all of the stories on one big map of...
Yes. So taking all 5 novels, taking essentially Prescott, Arkansas as the blueprint.
As a base, yeah.
Yeah. And plotting, there's a Piggly Wiggly. So you can spot where the Piggly Wiggly is on the map. Bonus points to you.
Might have to talk to Piggly Wiggly to get...
I think it's okay as long as we're not besmirching them. I just like saying Piggly Wiggly.
Okay, all right.
Isn't that fun, Piggly Wiggly?
Yeah, all right, yeah. We're designing because Lily's got her gym bag, and we want to have Body Time Gym on that. So suddenly we're branding all of the things that go into...
There is actually a Body Time Gym in Europe.
In Europe, yeah.
So, little tricksy things that you need to think about that were written in 1995 that were not trademarked at the time. Is
Piggly Wiggly the same thing as an Easter egg?
Thanks, Carrie. No, that you haven't been to the South. Piggly Wiggly is the name of a grocery store chain, and I remember.
Yeah.
No, it's a grocery store. It's
like
a Kroger.
Oh, okay.
And which is also an American store, Safeway.
And in Lily Bard.
Oh, is there a Safeway in Lily Bard?
There's a Kroger in Lily Bard.
That's true.
Right? There's a big scene in Kroger.
Oh, right. That's in book 1.
That's in book 1.
See,
yeah.
I got something right. And I remember being 13 and seeing a Piggly Wiggly for the first time when I was visiting Florida, going, "That's a strange name for a grocery store." So we've been having a lot of fun and bringing on, it's a small grocery store. Okay. Thank you, Allena. See, we don't know these things because we're just we're Canadian. We have Zayres and Superstore.
See, for doing research, I've actually been into Google Maps, Street View of Prescott, Arkansas to do research. So I sort of know what the style lampposts.
Oh, for the Arboretum?
For the Arboretum.
Ooh.
So I pretty much matched their style.
And we're such total nerds that...
Allena, take a picture of your Piggly Wiggly. We'd love to. That sounds so dirty. But...
that totally threw me. What was I going to say? I was going to say... that we're such nerds that we're actually looking up to make sure what is authentic greenery that we would find in the Arboretum.
Yep.
Now, we need to remember that Lily describes the Arboretum as being a fancy park.
Oh, barely that. Just
a couple of trees.
A couple of trees with plaques beside them.
Yes.
But I mean, and if you do, there's actually a park like that in Prescott, Arkansas. There's just little bunches of I've scattered them more around just because I think it's more interesting to look at.
Well, we're sort of for example, with Lily and her apartment, when you're reading the series, you kind of get the sense that Lily is very much a pragmatist. She wouldn't have a lot of fluffy wuffy things in her place, that she would be very Spartan, that she just would be plain but nice. But as game designers, we have to consider how boring that might be for players. Yeah. So we haven't fluffed it up so that it feels inauthentic to Lily, but she's
got a little more style than she seems to have in that first novel.
Yeah.
Just as a starting point.
Well, when Anthony was designing the living room, he put this really nice hutch. I was like, maybe she would have a different kind of hutch, one of those low...
fluffy wuffy stuff.
One of those low hutches. And I was like, it's missing something. We need to put that old, those China patterned serving platters. I know your mom has quite a few. She has some sort of above her wall as decorative accent pieces, and they're beautiful.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that Lily would have from her family. She wouldn't necessarily use them, just like many of us don't use our formal china, but
We're still playing around with it. I mean, that's, yeah.
But it is definitely fluffy wuffy stuff, as Ron says. So.
But the story continues on. We've got the full story path done now, at least like the linear path. And so now all the writers are going to start grabbing bits of it and adding to it.
And again, that's something else you can see in last week's video is the entire 23-page document. You can start to see snippets of the branching.
Yep.
So you as Lily are going to start off in the Arboretum and make the choice.
What do you do when you're standing over this garbage bag?
Yeah. Are you going to chase after the bad guy? Are you going to go and snoop? And all of these will affect things that happen to you later in the game. And
even the very next day.
Yes. So Charlaine has our package. I know she's super, super busy. I can't wait to have her on.
I know. Yeah. Or even just to talk about it, right? Like it's like we kind of feel like we're the students to the teacher kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, and she's written so much since she has done the Lily Bard series.
Yeah.
I guess one of the questions that I'd have for her is, where do you think Lily would have gone on in her life?
Oh, I can totally see that.
You have like a vision?
Yeah.
Is it different now that you've read the entire series? Because I'm not quite finished Shakespeare's Counselor.
Is it different? Would I have a different? No, you could sort of get a sense of that at the end of book 4, I would say.
Okay.
Of sort of where the arc goes. But I think she'd still be out there helping people and solving crimes and, a
private detective, eh?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Who kicks ass and takes names and all that.
Yes. Well, I have to say,
I wonder if a character like, I don't know if you know V.I. Warshawski.
That rings a bell.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who played her in the movies. She's a detective, a private eye in Chicago. And it's a big mystery series from the 80s.
Okay.
Kathleen Turner played her in the movie, right? And so just wondering what kind of characters influenced Lily.
Yeah, I personally want to know a little bit about Charlaine's writing process, and does she just sit down and start writing things out? We'll
do a little bit of research on that to see if she's answered those questions in other interviews.
You know what? That would be very responsible of us, and that's another reason why we would love to have your questions in advance, so that we are asking great questions, but that we're not also making Charlaine answer questions she's answered 100 times before.
Where do you get your ideas?
I had somebody ping me on LinkedIn and say, can you tell me how to write a children's book? And I thought, that is such a bizarre thing to ask me. First, I don't write children's books. And B, there's this thing, or second, there's this thing called Google.
Yeah, look it up.
Yes, look it up.
Yeah.
Look it up. So, all right. Well, and I also want to remind people to make sure that they go over to lilybard.com to get onto our email list. There's going to be some exciting stuff coming out on the email list. Facebook is the main place where we post all of the news related to the project. We have the videos. We'll be posting regular reminder links about the podcast, because if you want to, for some reason you want to listen to our banter again, then you can also check us out.
We have heard from one of our friends who downloaded the podcast.
They are our friends, though.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's like having us in their car.
So lilybard.com, and that way you'll get the first notification on any new and exciting news. Actually, no, Facebook will be first and lilybard.com will be second.
Sure.
But that is also the way that you can win entry to the launch party, which is on October the 11th in Toronto. And this is going to be a really cool prize.
Yeah.
I think we'll have some pretty spectacular visitors to the party. I can't say anything else, but
we're planning lots of stuff, plotting.
So, love to thank you guys so much for coming out and watching us today. We are going to wrap it up because
we don't have as much to sort of show off today, and there's just
we're keeping things under wraps.
That's true, and we're gearing up for this. Like, we're in production, and stuff is motoring along. Let me tell you, and
it is.
Yeah,
it is. We talked about having an internal play test available at the end of the month. We were going to show that to a few people, but I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
There may be one or two of you that might get to play the first 5 or 10 minutes before anyone else does. But you need to go to lilybard.com and sign up.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
One of the things that we were also thinking about doing is even doing some of the world building live, like showing what it is to hook up one of Anthony's pictures or something like that. That might be interesting to people. I don't know. Leave some notes in the comments if you'd like to actually see how to use Story Stylist to build a world. And
to watch it like literally come to life as we're doing our live broadcast.
We can do that.
Leave a comment if you think that might be interesting to see the back end. You might even get to be able to see a few of the pictures.
Yeah, some of the newer pictures and stuff.
And so we hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your weekend.
Yep.
Because, hey, the weekend starts now, doesn't it?
That's right. We're done.
We still have work to do because we're working hard for you.
Yes.
But thank you again for joining us, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week.
Thanks for all your comments, guys. It really keeps us going throughout the week. And
yeah.
All right.
And we'll see you next Friday at 3:00. Cheers. Take care. Bye.
Take care. And you're going to hit that.